Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we're diving into a question that shapes every aspect of our modern world. Where does prosperity come from? For most of human history, life was, as the philosopher Thomas Hobbes put it, nasty, brutish and short. Economic stagnation was the norm. Then, about 2 centuries ago, something incredible happened. The engine of progress ignited, and it's been running ever since, lifting billions of people out of poverty. But what is the fuel for this engine? The 2025 Nobel Prize in Economics gives us a profound answer: technology and innovation. This year, the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences awarded the prize to 3 economists whose work is essential for understanding our past and navigating our future, especially in this age of artificial intelligence. The prize went to Joel Mokyr of Northwestern University and the team of Philippe Aghion from the Collège de France and Peter Howitt of Brown University for their work in explaining innovation-driven economic growth. Let's break down their groundbreaking ideas. The 11 million Swedish kroner prize was split in 2. Half went to Joel Mokyr, a brilliant economic historian who looked to the past to find the roots of our modern prosperity. His big question was, why did the Industrial Revolution happen? And more importantly, why did it stick? Why did it just fizzle out? Mokyr's answer lies in what he calls a culture of growth. Before the 18th century European Enlightenment, knowledge was often empirical and fragmented. A farmer might discover a better way to plant a crop, or a sailor might find a better sail design through trial and error. This was useful, but it had a major limitation. Because no one understood the underlying scientific principles, the biology of the plant or the physics of the wind, it was incredibly difficult to replicate, improve upon, or build on these innovations. Progress was slow, sporadic, and often lost. Mokyr argues that the crucial turning point came when scientific reasoning was systematically applied to technology. It wasn't just about knowing that something worked. It was about knowing why it worked. This created a powerful, positive feedback loop. New scientific knowledge led to the creation of better tools and instruments, like more powerful telescopes or precise clocks. These new tools, in turn, allowed scientists to make even more accurate observations and discoveries, which then fueled even more advanced technology. Think of it like this. Trying to innovate without scientific understanding is like trying to cook a complex dish with just a list of ingredients but no recipe. You might stumble upon a decent meal, but you can't consistently improve it or create new, even better dishes. The Enlightenment provided the recipe book, the scientific method that allowed us to understand the chemistry of cooking, leading to a culinary explosion. Mokyr's work shows that societies that thrive are those that are open to new ideas, encourage debate, and are willing to challenge old ways of doing things. This historical lesson is also a warning. Any society that stifles knowledge, closes itself off from new ideas, or protects entrenched interests from change risks, falling back into the economic stagnation that defined most of our history. So, Mokyr gave us the historical foundation. But what does the engine of progress actually look like in action, day to day? That's where the other half of the Nobel Prize comes in, awarded to Philippe Aghion and Peter Howitt. In a landmark paper from 1992, they built a mathematical model for a concept popularized decades earlier by the Austrian economist Joseph Schumpeter: creative destruction. The term sounds intense, but it describes a process you see constantly. Creative destruction is the engine of capitalism, where new innovations drive economic growth by simultaneously destroying older, less efficient technologies, skills, and even entire industries. The classic example is the video rental store. Blockbuster was a giant. But then came streaming services like Netflix. This new, better technology, streaming, creatively destroyed the old model of renting physical tapes and discs. Digital photography made the film processing industry a niche hobby. Electric cars are now challenging the century-long dominance of the internal combustion engine. In each case, a new creation displaces an old one. Aghion and Howitt's model elegantly shows that this is the very heart of progress. Growth isn't a smooth, straight line upwards. It's a messy, turbulent, and disruptive process. Each new, superior product or process makes our economy more productive and creates new value, but it does so through a constant cycle of birth and death. Their work provides a powerful lens to analyze how things like competition, education, R&D spending, and government policy affect the speed of innovation. For example, their model shows that fierce competition forces companies to innovate or die, accelerating the cycle of creative destruction. It also highlights a critical challenge. This process creates winners and losers. When an industry becomes obsolete, the workers in that industry face job losses and hardship. The Aghion-Howitt framework underscores why it's so important for societies to manage this conflict. We need social safety nets, like unemployment benefits, and retraining programs to help people transition. If we don't, people will understandably resist change, and that resistance can build up to the point where it stifles the very innovation we need for long-term growth. What's truly fascinating about the 2025 Nobels is how this theme of foundational, technology-driving innovation runs through the other science prizes as well. It's like the Nobel Committee wanted to paint a complete picture of where progress comes from. Take the Physics Prize. It was awarded to John Clark, Michel Dvorak, and John Martinez for their work on macroscopic quantum mechanical tunneling. Back in the 1980s, they conducted experiments showing that quantum effects, usually confined to the bizarre world of subatomic particles, could be observed in large, human-made circuits. This was a monumental achievement. It bridged the gap between the quantum realm and our tangible world, laying the essential groundwork for the next generation of transformative technologies, most notably quantum computing. The computers of the future, capable of solving problems that are impossible for today's machines, will be built on the foundations these laureates laid decades ago. Then there's the Chemistry Prize, awarded to Susumu Kitagawa, Richard Robson, and Omar Yagi for developing metal-organic frameworks, or MOFs. Imagine a crystalline sponge so porous that a single gram of it can have the surface area of a football field. That's a MOF. These are materials designed at the molecular level, and they are like Lego bricks for chemists. They can be custom built to do incredible things: store vast amounts of hydrogen for clean energy, capture carbon dioxide from the air, catalyze chemical reactions with incredible efficiency, and even harvest drinkable water from dry desert air. MOFs represent a new frontier in materials science, offering bespoke solutions to some of humanity's biggest challenges. And in physiology or medicine, the prize went to Mary Brunkow, Fred Ramsdell, and Shimon Sakaguchi. They discovered regulatory T cells, which are essentially the security guards of our immune system. Your immune system is designed to attack foreign invaders, but it needs a way to recognize and not attack your body's own tissues. Regulatory T cells are what provide that do not attack signal. This discovery has been revolutionary for understanding and treating autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and multiple sclerosis, where the immune system mistakenly attacks the body. It's also crucial for improving the success of organ transplants. All these prizes, physics, chemistry, and medicine, honor the discovery of fundamental building blocks. They reward the why that Joel Mokyr talked about, the foundational knowledge that enables waves of future technology. Even the non-science prizes carried powerful messages. The Literature Prize went to Hungarian author Laszlo Krasznahorkai for his visionary work, while the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado for her courageous fight for democratic rights. So why is the work of economists Mokyr, Aghion, and Howitt so incredibly relevant right now in 2025? The answer can be summed up in two letters: AI. As the world grapples with the rise of artificial intelligence, their theories provide the essential frameworks for thinking about its impact. AI is a classic example of a technology with the potential for massive creative destruction. It promises incredible boosts in productivity and growth, but it also threatens to make many existing jobs and skills obsolete. In his acceptance speech, Philippe Aghion directly addressed this. He noted that while AI has fantastic growth potential, we must be vigilant. He warned that governments need to enforce strict competition policies to prevent a few superstar tech firms from monopolizing AI. If that happens, they could block new innovators from entering the market, which, as his own model shows, would choke off the creative destruction process and slow down long-term progress. Aghion also pointed to what he called dark clouds on the horizon, the global trend towards protectionism and trade barriers. This echoes Joel Mokyr's historical research perfectly. Mokyr showed us that openness to trade and ideas is a critical ingredient for growth. Turning inward and closing borders is a recipe for stagnation. The laureate's work is a powerful reminder that progress is not automatic. It's not guaranteed. We have to actively create and maintain the conditions for it to flourish. We must manage the social disruptions that technology causes, and we must fight against threats to growth, whether they come from monopolies, political resistance to change, or policies that stifle openness. So what is the ultimate lesson from the 2025 Nobel Prize in Economics? It's a timeless lesson for a rapidly changing world. Joel Mokyr's historical view teaches us that prosperity is born from a culture that values scientific knowledge and embraces change. The Aghion-Howitt model of creative destruction gives us a dynamic map of how the engine of progress works through a constant, disruptive, but ultimately wealth-creating cycle of innovation. Together, their work provides not just an explanation for the world we have, but a guide for the world we are building. In an era that will be defined by artificial intelligence and other unprecedented technologies, their insights are more vital than ever. We must foster competition, champion new ideas, and intelligently manage the inevitable turbulence of progress. Only then can we ensure that the engine of technology continues to build a more prosperous future for everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Fun Facts Online.